If making $1 million was about hard work, the poorest people on earth would be the richest. The truth is darker. Your first million doesn't come from effort. It comes from killing the version of you that was trained to stay small. And once you understand this, there is no going back. Once you escape the illusion that hard work alone creates wealth, you enter a colder, quieter world where money follows rules, not emotions, and this is the game rich people play but almost never explain. Because it sounds simple on the surface, yet destroys most people who try it without understanding leverage. And leverage is the real difference between those who struggle forever and those who build their first million almost invisibly, because rich people don't trade hours for income. They trade systems for scale, and while the average person wakes up asking, "What do I need to do today?" wealthy thinkers wake up asking, "What system can work even when I don't?" And this is why two people can work the same number of hours for 10 years and end up in completely different financial realities. One exhausted, the other free, because the first sells time and the second builds assets. And assets don't care about your mood, your energy, or your presence. They just keep producing. And there are only 3 types of leverage that create real money in the modern world: digital leverage, people leverage, and financial leverage. And if you master even one, your first million becomes a mathematical outcome, not a dream. Digital leverage is when your effort is recorded once and sold infinitely, like content, software, AI systems, or online brands. Which is why someone can make more money from a single viral video than a lifetime of salaries. People leverage is when you stop doing everything yourself and start multiplying your output through teams. Automation and delegation. And financial leverage is when money itself becomes your employee, earning more money while you focus on growth. But here's the brutal part nobody likes to hear. Most people fail not because leverage is hard, but because their ego refuses to start small. They want big results without boring foundations, yet every millionaire story you admire secretly began with one focused skill. One clear audience and one repeatable system, not 10 hustles, not random experiments. But ruthless focus, because money rewards clarity, not chaos. And rich people understand that attention is the most expensive currency in the world, so they learn how to capture it, keep it, and convert it. While others waste years scrolling, consuming, and admiring lifestyles they are too scared to build. And this is why the first million usually comes from ownership. Not participation. Employees participate, owners control, and control creates upside. Because when you own the process, you decide pricing, positioning, scaling, and expansion. But when you're just part of the process, your income ceiling is decided by someone else's imagination. And here's the dark truth. Most people say they want freedom, but they fear responsibility more. Because responsibility means if it fails, it's on you, and rich people accept this risk early, while others delay it until it's too late. And this is why wealthy individuals love boring, repetitive actions that compound quietly, posting content consistently, reinvesting profits, improving systems, setting data, while the poor chase excitement, motivation, and fast results, not realizing that excitement is expensive and consistency is profitable. And the first million rarely looks glamorous from the outside. It looks like isolation, repetition, and obsession. Doing the same thing when no one is watching, improving when no one is clapping, and trusting a vision when the bank balance doesn't yet prove you right. And the reason rich people don't talk about this phase is because it doesn't sell dreams, it kills them. But this phase is where identity locks in. Because once you see your system work even a little, confidence shifts from hope to evidence. And that evidence changes how you think, move, and decide. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for perfect timing. And you stop explaining yourself to people who don't understand leverage. Because at this level, speed matters, execution matters, and emotions become liabilities. And this is where most people still fail. Not because the system doesn't work, but because they sabotage it with impatience, inconsistency, and distraction. And the rich know something the poor don't. The market doesn't reward effort. It rewards value delivered at scale, and once you align your life around this truth, the question is no longer, can I make my first million? How long will it take if I don't quit? And that's when the game becomes dangerous, because even with the right system, most people still fail. The first $1 million is not about money. It's about breaking the invisible prison that most people never even realize they are trapped inside. Because from the moment you are born, the world programs you to think small, safe, and obedient, telling you to study hard, get a job, earn a salary, pay bills, repeat the same routine for 40 years, and somehow call that a life. But here's the brutal truth nobody wants to say out loud. If working hard alone made people rich, Construction workers, farmers, and factory laborers would all be millionaires, yet they are not, because effort without leverage only creates exhaustion, not wealth. And this is why your first $1 million is the hardest, not because the money is difficult, but because the mindset shift required feels illegal to your old identity. You're not fighting the market, you're fighting decades of conditioning that taught you to trade time for money, chase comfort, and fear uncertainty. While rich people were quietly taught the opposite, to build systems, embrace discomfort, and use uncertainty as a weapon. Because when you work a job, no matter how many hours you give, your income is capped. But when you build ownership, even while you sleep, value keeps moving. And the poor ask, how much do I earn per month? While the wealthy ask, how many people does my system serve? This difference alone decides your financial future, because $1 million is never created by saving money. It is created by solving problems at scale, yet most people are too busy surviving to even think about scale. They spend their lives chasing small pleasures, new phones, cheap entertainment, instant comfort, while rich people delay pleasure and invest their energy into assets that don't reward them immediately. And this delay is painful, lonely, and misunderstood. Which is why most people quit long before they see results. But understand this clearly. The first $1 million is not a reward. It is a filter. It filters out the impatient, the emotional, and the comfort addicted, because during the journey, nothing validates you, no one claps for you, no one believes you, and your bank balance stays boring for a long time. And that's where most people fail. Not because they can't make money, but because they cannot survive the silence before success. And this is why poor people seek motivation while rich people build discipline, because motivation fades, but discipline compounds. And the moment you accept that nobody is coming to save you, something dangerous happens. You stop blaming the system, your parents, your country, your luck, and you start taking full responsibility. And responsibility is terrifying, because now failure has no excuses, but it's also powerful, because now success is fully in your control. And here's the part nobody warns you about. As you move closer to your first $1 million, you will start losing people, friends will call you obsessed, family will say you've changed. Society will pressure you to be realistic, but realistic is just another word for staying average. And rich people don't become rich by fitting in. They become rich by being misunderstood for years. And while others relax after work, you start learning skills, studying markets, understanding how money actually flows. Because schools teach you how to work for money, but never how money works for you. And once you see this, you can never unsee it. Your mind starts asking dangerous questions like, why am I building someone else's dream? And what would happen if I own the process instead of just participating in it? This is the moment your old life begins to collapse and fear shows up, not because you're weak, but because growth always feels unsafe at first. And the people who never make their first $1 million are not stupid. They're comfortable. Comfort kills ambition slowly, silently, without pain. Until one day you wake up too old, too tired, and full of regret, realizing that the dream you postponed is now expired. And this is why your first $1 million is the hardest milestone you'll ever chase. Because before the money arrives, you must first kill your old self, the version of you that seeks approval, avoids risk, and confuses movement with progress. And once that version dies, the path becomes clearer but not easier. Because the game now shifts from how do I survive to how do I create value at scale. And that's where the real journey begins. Because the moment you stop selling time, money starts chasing you. Even after understanding mindset and leverage, the final reason most people never reach their first $1 million has nothing to do with intelligence, luck, or opportunity. It comes down to one uncomfortable word: execution. Because ideas are cheap, motivation is temporary, and knowledge without action is just another form of entertainment. And this is where the gap between those who talk about success and those who quietly achieve it becomes permanent. Because rich people execute when it's boring, when it's repetitive, and when results are invisible, while everyone else waits for confidence, clarity, or the right moment that never arrives. And here's the truth nobody wants to accept: patience is not passive. It is aggressive consistency over a long period of time, and the first $1 million always tests this patience brutally, because progress feels slow, feedback feels negative, and the world constantly tempts you to quit. Yet wealthy individuals understand something dangerous. Time is either your greatest ally or your silent executioner, and most people waste it chasing pleasure, validation, and comfort. While rich people invested into skills, systems, and habits that compound quietly, and this is why boring routines create extraordinary outcomes. Because while excitement burns fast, discipline compounds forever, and discipline means showing up when you don't feel like it, improving when no one notices, and staying focused when distractions are screaming for your attention. And this is where ego destroys dreams, because ego wants fast results, public recognition, and proof before effort, but the market doesn't care about your ego. It only rewards value, consistency, and endurance. And rich people kill their ego early. They become students of the game, obsessed with feedback, data, and improvement. While poor people protect their pride and repeat the same mistakes for years. And another dark truth most people avoid is this: the first million rarely arrives with fireworks, applause, or instant lifestyle changes. It comes quietly, almost disappointingly. Because by the time you reach it, you've already changed internally. You've learned restraint, delayed gratification, and emotional control. And this emotional discipline is the real wealth, because money simply becomes a tool, not a trophy. And this is why rich people don't celebrate early wins. They reinvest them. They don't increase lifestyle. They increase capacity because they understand that showing off wealth before it's stable is the fastest way to lose it. And the poor do the opposite. They upgrade cars, clothes, and status the moment money touches their hands, trapping themselves in higher expenses and lower freedom. And this is why the first million separates those who want to look rich from those who want to be rich. Because appearance is expensive and freedom is priceless, and as you get closer to this milestone, something strange happens. Fear disappears. Not because risk is gone, but because competence replaces doubt. You've executed enough to trust yourself, and self-trust is the ultimate leverage. Because now you don't panic in uncertainty, you see it as opportunity. You don't freeze under pressure, you move with precision. And this is when wealth becomes inevitable, not because the market owes you anything, but because you've become the kind of person who produces value regardless of conditions. And the final truth is this: the first million doesn't change your life the way people imagine. It doesn't suddenly make you happy, fearless, or complete, but it proves something far more powerful. It proves that you were right to trust yourself, to delay pleasure, to stay disciplined when others quit. And once you have that proof, the world changes. Because now you're no longer chasing money, money's responding to who you've become. And from this point forward, growth accelerates, confidence multiplies, and opportunities appear where others see risk. Because the hardest part was never the money, it was becoming the person capable of creating it. And once you cross that line, the question is no longer, can I become rich? It becomes, how big do I want to build? Because the first million doesn't change your life. It proves you were right all along.